Good afternoon, Fin fans, and welcome back to another episode of AT Fins News. In this episode, we're going to be breaking down what we saw with the Miami Dolphins versus the Detroit Lions yesterday. So without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? Okay, so before I get started with breaking down the Miami Dolphins versus Detroit Lions game, I know I've been MIA for a few weeks now. I'm sorry, you guys. I had some computer issues. I'm getting those resolved right now. So moving forward, the schedule is going to be every Monday. We're going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins game on Sunday, and then we're going to do a preview show every Friday, getting us ready for the Sunday football game. But again, guys, I'm truly sorry about being MIA for a couple weeks. It's not going to happen again. We got the whole computer situation all sorted out. So like I said, moving forward, we're going to do a show every Monday, and every Friday will be the preview show. Monday will be the reaction video, either Victory Monday like this Monday or Therapy Monday if we lose. But yeah, just moving forward, expect a video every Monday and Friday, guys. So when we actually get to talking about this game, it was definitely a tale of two halves. Man, when the game first started, it didn't look good for our defense. The Detroit Lions were able to score at will. Anything they wanted, they got on our defense, which was real concerning for me. I know the Detroit Lions a couple weeks ago had the number one rated offense in the league of scoring offense, but they kind of fell off the last few weeks. But this defense, man, it's kind of getting scary how easy some teams are just moving down the field and scoring at ease. Like, I don't think the Lions punted the ball until that third quarter, whenever they had multiple false starts, a holding penalty that put them in like 2nd and 30, and we're able to stop them then and get the first punt of the game. But our defense is going to have to be able to play more consistent. I know in the second half, I don't believe the Lions scored any points. If they did, it was a field goal. But yeah, man, our defense has to be way more consistent. Where is our pass rush, guys? I mean, I know last year it was a product of the scheme how we got pass rush because of the zero blitz and confusing the line and get a safety home, and I get all that, but we need some organic pass rush to help this secondary because, as we all know, guys, our secondary is truly hurt. We got backups. Our backups are playing. We got Noah Igbenogany, which they've tried to stash away for going on 3 years now, and he is actually getting playing time now. And the only way to help this DB room, unless we get Byron Jones back, which I believe if he doesn't play this Sunday and active, he's done for the year. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't even expect Byron Jones to play this season. And if we do get him back, it would be a luxury for us, and we'll all be ecstatic for it because our defense really thrives on having those two shutdown corners. And without Byron Jones there, it leaves X on an island, and then they're trying to do like some concept zone on the other side. It's just a tough defense to run, and we won't be at that full potential unless we get Byron Jones back. But in my opinion, I would just not expect him to come back this year. He would have probably been already active if he was going to play. But if we do get him, like I said, this week, not expecting him to play against the Bears, but at least being active will be the step in the right direction. But like I said, guys, I wouldn't expect that to be happening. But the only way to get this secondary right is a pass rush. That's why, if you heard today the reports that the Dolphins are in on Bradley Chubb, trying to get that dynamic pass rusher. I mean, if we got some Bradley Chubb, I'd love that. Put him on the opposite side of Melvin Ingram, Jalen Phillips, Agba. Even though Agba's had a really down year, Phillips is starting to pick it up a little bit, but the start of the season was really rough for him as well. But we need some pass rush in there so our DBs know that they don't have to cover for 3, 4, 5 seconds. They're going to get that pass rush going within 2 seconds, so they can cheat. They can play off the ball and then come up because they know they're going to be short routes because our line's going to take care of their line. So, I mean, we definitely need to improve that defensive line and that pass rush in order to help this secondary because even though I like Crossan, I like what he's about, I like his play, he's still a young player. that really wasn't even supposed to play this year. He was maybe depth in case someone got hurt, but he's been thrust into a starting role. We got special teams players, people on punt team being our slot corner now, and Bethel. So I mean, we need players to definitely step up. This defense isn't looking as dominant as previous years, obviously. And maybe they don't have to be. If our offense can actually continue to put up points like they did this game, then our defense won't have to be so dominant. But it's all about consistency with this team. And even though our offense was firing on all cylinders yesterday, it was one of the best offensive games that I've seen from Tua in this offense in the last 3 years. Let's see if we can multiply that to next week against the Bears. Let's see if we can do it against the Browns and then the Texans. If we can put consecutive games or 3 or 4 games together like what we've seen with the Lions, then that's something to really be excited for, to get the ball rolling and momentum going into December with our tough schedule to end the season. But if we're going to need this defense to only give up 16 to 19 points a game, there's a few things that we're either going to have to go find a trade partner and get, like I said, a pass rusher, maybe another linebacker, maybe another corner. But that's asking for a lot in the trade deadline. You know, the trade deadline, the Miami Dolphins usually don't do much at the trade deadline. They kind of just sit back and say that this is the team we assembled. This is what you have to work with. But if they're serious about contending this year, we need to go out and get maybe, like I said, one more corner. A linebacker would be great. A pass rusher, even an offensive lineman. I mean, there is some holes on this team that we can fill. Even if they get say an offensive lineman and a DB, I mean that would do wonders for this team in general. Just add protection for Tua, and then especially if someone gets hurt, and then a DB to fill in on the opposite side of X. I mean, that would be huge. But like I said, guys, I don't see that happening before the trade deadline tomorrow. But like I said, guys, this offensive performance was spectacular. I mean, if you just look at Tua's numbers, he was 29 of 36, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns. Should have been 4 with that Sherfield catch at the towards the end of the game. But they said he was short of the goal line, even though replay clearly showed he crossed the plane. We should have probably challenged that. Got Tua's 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, which is huge. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, what more could you say about those guys? I mean, Tyreek caught the ball 12 times for 188 yards. And still no touchdowns, which is crazy to me how dynamic Tyreek's been this whole year and only have 2 touchdowns, and they came in one game against the Ravens. But, I mean, he's the best receiver in the league, bar none, in my opinion. I mean, it's not even close. Look at what he's doing for the entire season in receiving yards. He's almost at 1,000 already. I believe he's like 986 or something. And that was with games with our second and third string quarterback in, and he's still putting up numbers. Look at Jalen Waddle. He had 8 catches, 106 yards, 2 tubs. I mean, he's scoring those touchdowns. He's right there in yards like Tyreek. So, I mean, if we don't have the best duo at wide receiver in the entire league, I don't know who does. But, I mean, they're scary, guys, and it's hard for any defense to contain both of these players on any given Sunday. And with Tua being healthy, and if he can stay healthy, this team can be a force to be reckoned with later in the year. They just got to keep improving. They got to keep getting better. We still haven't seen a complementary game the entire year. Either our offense is doing really good and our defense is playing like trash, or our defense is playing elite and our offense is playing like trash. We never can have both phases of the ball playing excellent on one game. And trust me, if we ever have that continuity in a game, we're going to be blowing teams out, because if they're not going to be able to stop our offense and our defense isn't allowing anyone to score or only putting up 10, 15 points a game, we're going to start blowing out teams. But we need to have complementary football, and we haven't seen it all year. And I don't know if that's because of coaching, not being disciplined, because we're going to talk about that too right now. Being disciplined falls on our coaching staff. And I know it shows in the box score that the Miami Dolphins only had 7 penalties this game, but the Detroit Lions, they declined like 6 or 7 penalties. So we would have had 13, 14 penalties in this game. And it's a growing theme, guys. We're always getting penalized. That's one thing you can say about Mike McDaniel. He doesn't have this team disciplined in the slightest. I mean, the last couple years with Brian Flores, we were one of the least penalized teams in the entire league over that 2-3 year span. I mean, I know it's probably because he's a hard ass. I mean, he did not tolerate any BS like that with penalties. Um, and that's a part of being disciplined, guys. I mean, for Mike McDaniel, he has to see this as a problem because if we would have lost this game, it would have fell on our defense and our coaches because of how many penalties we had. It has to be cleaned up, guys, especially getting later in the year, playing better teams. You're gonna lose ball games because of not being disciplined, and that's gonna make me sick to my stomach, knowing how much talent this team has, and if they lose a game from with a less superior team than us because they're not disciplined, there's going to be hell to pay, and this fan base is going to come after the coaches. At least, I mean, I will be coming after the coaches because we haven't even fixed the issue, and this has been going on for 4 or 5 straight weeks now. It's not something that just came out yesterday against the Lions. I mean, we had penalties the week prior. We had penalties against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. It was atrocious. We have penalties. Even the games we've won, we've had so many penalties. I mean, it has to change, guys. Hopefully, Mike McDaniel's in there telling the guys it needs to change. We need to be focused on each play, getting these players to become disciplined and have some consequences for their actions. I know he has to do something, guys, because they cannot keep winning games, especially if they're close, if they're not going to be disciplined and have penalties, especially dumb pre-snap penalties, being offsides, lining up offsides. It's just not, your head's not in the game. So that definitely has to change. But I mean, overall, guys, as far as I love to see that even though our defense was horrible in the first half, I love to see that in the second half our defense shut down the Lions offense. And that's a potent offense on the other side of the ball. I know they fell off the last couple weeks, but I mean, they were number one in scoring offense for a reason at the beginning of the year. They were putting up a lot of points before Miami's defense to figure it out in the second half and not allow them to score. I mean, hats off to them, especially with DBs that shouldn't be playing, that are playing, especially with no pass rush. But they were able to figure it out, guys. Our offense, they played spectacular the whole game, quarters 1 through 4. Tua had the ball rolling. Even on third downs, he was so consistent. And they weren't just like 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s. They had 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 13s, 3rd and 15s, and Tua just let that ball rip and get first down after first down after first down. Just heartbreaking for the Detroit Lions defense. So, I mean, if Tua can keep this level of play up, guys, the sky's the limit. I know we're going into the Bears week. We'll start talking about the Bears later on during the week on Friday on the next show. But I just see positive things starting to build for Tua as long as he doesn't get injured, as long as he knows how to throw the ball away when he needs to and not take a sack or take a big hit. I mean, this offense can roll, guys. I mean, you just see the difference with Tua back now. Last week was pretty bad. He only had like 2 good drives the whole game. This week you've seen it consistent. Every drive he was consistent, putting up points after points after points, especially when we went down 14-0. Then we went down 21-7, and you've seen this offense on the sidelines. Their heads weren't down. They knew they were still in it. It was just a matter of time for them to break open, and then if the defense just gets 1 stop or 2 stops throughout the game, they had confidence that they were going to win this game. And I mean, I just, in all the years I've been a fan for 30 years, 30 plus years, I've never seen our offense so, like, just not giving up just because they're struggling right away. They still have the confidence that they can come back and win this game. Sometimes when we're down 14 with Tannehill or, I mean, everyone, all the other quarterbacks, Cleo Lemons, Pat Whites of the world, the game was pretty much over. You're down 14. Our defense didn't keep it close. We're not coming back from this game. Now we have the confidence that, oh, we're down 14. It's all right. Our offense is going to figure it out. Our defense needs to get one or two stops, and we're money. And that's a great feeling to have as Dolphin fans. We should all be excited. We should all get on this bandwagon. Let's go and let's go on this winning streak. We're at 2 in a row. Let's go get those Bears, make it 3 in a row, and then let's see where the chips fall, where they may with the Browns and Texans. I expect those victories as well. So we go on a little winning streak here. But we take it one game at a time here. So we'll do the preview show on Friday, guys, about the upcoming matchup against the Chicago Bears. Should be a good one. Expect the Miami Dolphins to handle that pretty easily if our defense shows up and our offense maintains that level of play. But other than that, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you all for sticking through this tough time with me with the whole computer issue, and thank you for not unsubscribing to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel and you like what you hear, if you guys can please hit that subscribe button so we can help grow this channel organically and do bigger and better things in the future. If you guys can also hit that like button, please. I truly appreciate it. It gets more eyes on the video and gets more subscribers in the long run. But other than that, guys, like always, fins up, baby. I'm out. Peace.